Greetings everyone, my name is Numlov, and today I will be taking a look at the AUG A3, the weapon that received the most votes in my last poll. Now, I went into the battleground expecting this weapon to just be a copy of the MSBS, and while it does share some similarities, it's definitely not a straight up copy. First off, taking a look at the damage of this weapon, it will be dealing 30 up close and 15 at a distance. This will land it at anywhere between 4 to 7 shots to kill, assuming you're shooting people in the stomach and chest area. This is some fairly common numbers, and it will be sharing this trait of 4 to 7 shots to kill with a lot of the other automatic weapons in the game. However, what it doesn't share with as many other weapons is a headshot multiplier of 1.5, which is slightly more uncommon. While this headshot multiplier is slightly above many of the other weapons, you will still need all 3 of your shots to hit in the head before actually taking the shots to kill down to 3. However, it is still going to help you out in some situations. Moving on to my favorite part of the video, here's a graph I made. And as you may be able to tell from it, this weapon has a ginormous range. It is actually the best range for an automatic weapon in the game, which is also why I expected it to be very much comparable to the MSBS, because that weapon has the second best range of all the automatic weapons in the game. You might still find yourself outranged by a weapon with a higher damage though, so that's something you gotta keep in mind. Slapping on either the modified rifling attachment or the precision barrel, you will not find yourself having to use more than 4 shots in most of your gunfights, so that's definitely a plus. However, is it needed? That's really up to you. As always, I will present you guys with a visual representation. This is the maximum distance of which you'll be able to 4-shot people, and this is the distance of where you will start needing 7 shots to kill. Moving on to the recoil of the weapon. I'd rate it anywhere between okay good and okay bad, depending on how long you played with it actually. Because at first it might seem slightly overwhelming, but as soon as you figure out the recoil pattern, which is just up and to the right really, and you start counteracting it, you can make the recoil work pretty well. However, there are weapons that are easier to control, and obviously weapons which are harder to control. So it's right in that middle spot really. As we've seen before, this recoil doesn't have to stem from its high fire rate, as the rounds per minute are only 600. Which is not only fairly low compared to the other assault rifles, but also put its time to kill at the slowest for any automatic weapon in the game, not taking into account the secondary pistol. Comparing this to the average time to kill of the assault rifles, you can really see that it falls behind, and that this is definitely not an area where the gun shines. Another one of the aspects where the gun can keep up with the other weapons though is with the Hipfire, where it does perform pretty well, as most other guns in the game does. Not much to keep in mind here, other than the fact that as it does shoot a little bit slower, that will affect your ability to just spray down people. Some other stats you might be interested in knowing is that the reload speed for the weapon with bullets still left in the chamber is 2.9 seconds, and without any bullets left in the chamber it's 3.7 seconds. This will be reduced to 2 seconds with bullet left in the chamber if you're using the quick reload perk, and to 2.6 seconds without any bullets left in the chamber if you're using that perk. Furthermore, your magazine will hold 30 bullets and you will bring 120 bullets with you into combat. This cannot be extended by the use of an attachment. Now, this is going to be the first gun that I cover that I'm not actually going to recommend to you guys. Before I really got around to spending all that much time with this weapon, I was actually expecting it to steal the place of the MSBS in the heart for me, however that just wasn't the case. You see, while this weapon might have an astonishing range on paper, that's really all it does for you. In most situations while you're playing with this weapon, you would have been better off with another weapon instead. It really just is below average in most aspects of the game, and if you're in the market for an automatic weapon with a good range, there really are better choices than this. Of course, the weapon isn't completely useless though, and you're definitely better off taking this with you into war than a butter knife. But if you do want my recommendation for it because you just can't help yourself from buying it, or because it's the last weapon you need, I'd say equip a scope to it and maybe some recoil reducing thing, because you really don't want to be missing any of your shots and you want to be able to make use of the range that it does have. Now I do believe that's everything I need to cover for this weapon. I do apologize if you went into this video having high hopes for the weapon and I just accidentally destroyed them in the time span of 5 minutes. However, I will say that it's not like you're not gonna be able to ever perform with this gun. So if the AUG is your favorite weapon in real life or something, and you just really want to use it, go ahead, don't let this discourage you. As for my next weapon video, I have already made the choice for that weapon. You see, that was a gun which was only 1 vote behind the AUG, and which has been requested ever since I started making videos. So I would feel really bad if that one didn't win the next poll, so therefore I'm not making you guys able to vote until I've covered that weapon as well. Whether or not another weapon video will be my next video though, I guess we'll just have to find out. So until then, take care.